Hi guys. So when I first got into like barefoot or minimalist running, running these zero sandals, I've pretty much worn these out by now, or the Jesus creepers as people call them. The thing I noticed was your running gait has to change. So it has to be more of a 4-foot strike. Imagine a plane coming into land. You need to basically make sure the angle is nice and small. If you're too high on your toes, then the plane crashes because the angle's too steep. If you're heel toe, then in essence you're applying a brake to your knee, so you may find that you create more vibration going up your tibia to your knee, and you may find you have knee problems. Having said that, more of a 4-foot strike, you normally find you get an increase of Achilles problems if you don't transition properly enough. What I found was I didn't have mobility, especially in my right ankle. So I'm going to just take you through a couple of things that I did in order to get around that. If at any point you have like a sharp pain or any pain when you're doing this, please don't do it. Seek a medical professional. Or saying that, you could, if you find any of these challenging, you can go to the classic foam rolling of your soleus and your gastrocnemius, aka your calf. You can still do stuff like that. So I'm going to show you what works for me, and I wanted to mobilize through the actual gait pattern. So it looked like this. So you can start off, if your range is decreased, you can start off with just a rolled up yoga mat. I'll show you what it looks like with a yoga block in a minute, but the block is a bit more tougher and there's not a lot of give. So with the rolled up yoga mat, I basically step like that. So I'm going to leave my heel behind. And it's as simple as that, and all I'm doing is increasing dorsiflexion as then I roll through the gait. So I'm increasing the length through here, gently mobilizing how I'm actually going to use the joint. So it looks like that, and I can just step forwards and backwards if I don't want to spend all day doing it. Now at the moment my range is quite good, so I used to find this actually quite challenging. Okay, but because my range is good, I can use a block, and it depends if you actually want to increase your dorsiflexion by that much. I did because I needed that range, but whatever you stretch and mobilize, you also have to strengthen, and that's worth bearing in mind, that you mobilize, you're increasing the amount of space or the amount of kind of length that you have through that area. It means you need to strengthen through that area. So don't do this if you're like a decent marathon runner, for instance, and you're constantly wearing trainers and you want to transition to barefoot sandals and so on. You can't suddenly go from what you were doing, the mileage that you were doing, to the mileage that you were doing in barefoot. You almost have to start from scratch a little bit. So you may find you want to do both initially. So maybe your like really longer runs in your traditional trainers, how you were doing it, and then maybe even at the end of that long run. Okay, I probably wouldn't do it at the end of the long run because you'd be knackered, but maybe on you kind of short distances like your 5, 6, 7Ks, right at the end, you may want to put on your barefoot shoes, whether it's Vivo, whether it's Zero, whether it's Vibrams, and do maybe start off with just 5 minutes or 5 minutes of that, bit of mobilization, but you have to transition over a period of time. I took about 18 months in order to fully transition through, purely because I was always injury prone. But it's important that if you don't have the space, if you don't have the dorsiflexion, then as you're running, there won't be much give, so it'll put more stress on the Achilles and on the knee. So make sure that you strengthen as well through maybe single leg calf raises, squats, lunges, you know, the traditional strength and conditioning work. Okay, so if you're okay with that, I then go to the block. Like I said, it depends how much dorsiflexion range that you actually want. I felt I needed this, but you may not. So same rules apply. Now there's a lot less give, and it'll put a lot more kind of stretch through. So, and this all I do is step and back, step and back. So if you keep your legs straight, you can do more gastrocnemius. If you bend your leg, you can do more soleus, and that's how you might actually use it. And you just go back and forth like that. quite easy. If you want to play about with it, you can just step through, step through. So that felt a little bit tight there. And all I would do is work through that movement. Easy peasy. On top of that, and again, it's important that if you have any knee pain doing this next one, please don't do it. So thumbs out in this position, nice upright posture, bend down. So I'm up on my tiptoes like this. I'm trying to keep this nice line so the load's going straight through my hips and not my knees. If I was leaning forward like that on my toes, then yes, my center of gravity travels further forward, so I start stressing my knees out. Let me go further away so you can see. So it's just this movement. And all I'm doing, I'll show you close up, this is what's happening. So I'm up on my toes. Again, I'm trying to get that nice line there. I'm increasing the range at my ankle, getting the connective tissue around my knees, getting it nice and strong. I'm working through that range. Another good one that you can do is place your elbow just on here. You got your big toe here. Now when your foot lands, your big toe should be your main driver. Your main toe basically activates your buttocks further up. So from here, you're going to push very gently over your big toe like that, and then you're going to actively push back. So eccentrically load, so we're lengthening under that tension, and then you're going to concentrically push back. Concentric. So what will happen is, because you're going over your toe, you're purposely collapsing your foot. So technically you're then over pronating, if that's how you want to look at it. And you go to the point where you feel you can. So even if it's just there and you're working in that range, then do it. Don't feel you have to push it really to the end range. All we're trying to do is stimulate the tibialis posterior. The tibialis posterior helps decelerate that movement at your ankle when you're running, and straight away I can feel that just behind my tibia. Feels quite nice actually. And you'll be looking at fairly high repetitions, 12, 15, 20 reps, and then obviously do the other side. So that's kind of enough to get started. You can buy toe spacers that put between your toe and do mobility work. They're great if you've been wearing traditional trainers for a long time. And making sure that you kind of give your feet some self-care. And you have to start being a foot person. So what you can do is grab those bunch of toes there, grab your big toe and wiggle. So you may do 12, 15 times, and then grab your big toe, second toe, and separate. Grab big toe and the first two toes, and you're just working through and really trying to mobilize that ankle. You can also get your thumb and just go around the joint line. I mean, it's a hot day today, so to be disgusting, I don't need any oil, it's sweaty enough, but you can go along the joint line just to kind of stimulate that those nerve receptors and get that extra movement, and it'll feel quite light. So you can do that all the way around the other one. So you can do that before, do it after, but like I said, do take some time to transition between. Don't just go, from zero to hero, boom or bust, because it won't work. You'll just get injured. But give it a go. Any questions, any problems, any concerns, please feel free to leave a comment if you're watching this on YouTube channel, or leave comments if this is on Instagram, or email me at kieran.cronin@yahoo.co.uk, and I'll get back to you. Thanks guys.